Have you ever noticed something curious about the way your cat reacts when you pet them? Sometimes they lean hard into your hand like they want more, almost pushing your fingers into their fur. Other times they suddenly pull away, flick their tail, or step aside as if something about your touch wasn't quite right. Most people assume cats are just being unpredictable, but that moment isn't random at all. Your cat is actually telling you exactly where love lives on their body. And the truth is, many cat owners completely miss these signals without realizing it. What most people do is simple. They go straight for the back and stroke from head to tail. Or they try rubbing the belly because it looks soft and inviting. And yes, some cats tolerate that. But tolerating something is very different from enjoying it. There is a huge difference between a cat that puts up with your touch and a cat that melts into it. The places your cat truly craves being scratched are small areas around the head where scent glands are concentrated along the cheeks, at the base of the ears, and right under the chin. When you gently scratch those spots, something fascinating happens. Your cat begins releasing facial pheromones, invisible chemical signals that cats use to mark places and beings that feel safe to them. In other words, your cat isn't just enjoying the scratch, they're actively marking you as part of their safe world. This is one of the clearest examples of how cats show love and build trust with humans. When your cat presses their cheek into your hand or slowly closes their eyes while you scratch that perfect spot, their brain is essentially saying one simple thing: this person is home. But touch is only one part of your cat's emotional world. Because the next thing many owners misunderstand has nothing to do with petting at all. It happens during playtime. And it reveals something deep about cat behavior and instinct. Have you ever tried to play with your cat using a feather toy or a string, only to watch them lose interest after half a minute? At first they seem excited. They pounce once, maybe twice, and then suddenly they walk away like the whole game has become boring. A lot of people assume their cat just isn't playful, but the truth is very different. Your cat isn't bored. The game simply never finished the way their brain expected it to. Most owners treat playtime like a game of chase. They wave the toy quickly in the air, swing it around the room, and keep it just out of reach, thinking the faster the movement, the more exciting it will be. But that's not how a cat's instincts work. Cats are not built like dogs that love to chase endlessly. Cats are ambush predators. In the wild, a cat doesn't sprint after prey for long distances. Instead, they crouch low. They watch carefully. They wait with patience. And then in one sudden moment they strike. That final moment, the catch, is where the real satisfaction lives. When a toy moves too fast or stays in the air where your cat can never actually grab it, their hunting sequence never reaches completion. Imagine preparing a full dinner, smelling the food, sitting down at the table, and then the plate is taken away before you take a bite. That's what unfinished play feels like to a cat. But when you slow the toy down, let it disappear behind a pillow, allow it to pause like nervous prey, and then finally let your cat capture it, something remarkable happens. Your cat experiences the full hunting cycle, and their brain releases dopamine, the same reward chemical that reinforces deep satisfaction and trust. Over time, your cat begins to associate that feeling with you. Playtime stops being random entertainment and becomes something much deeper, a shared instinctual ritual that strengthens how to bond with your cat. And yet, even after play ends, there's another surprisingly powerful way cats recognize the people they trust most. It happens not through touch or movement, but through the sound of your voice. Have you ever spoken to your cat and suddenly felt like they were actually listening? Maybe their ears turned toward you. Maybe their eyes softened. Or they tilted their head in that curious way cats sometimes do, as if they're trying to decode every sound you're making. Most people laugh it off and assume they're imagining things. But they're not. Cats really can recognize their owner's voice. And the way you speak to them matters far more than most people realize. Many cat owners talk to their pets the same way they would talk to another adult in the room. Normal tone. Full sentences. Sometimes even long explanations that the cat clearly doesn't understand. But cats don't process language the way humans do. They respond to tone, rhythm, and emotional signals in sound. Studies on cat behavior explained have shown something fascinating. When owners speak in short, soft phrases with a slightly warmer tone, cats react more strongly and more positively. Their ears perk up. Their attention sharpens. Sometimes they even walk closer to the sound of that familiar voice. It isn't the words that matter, it's the emotional signal behind them. That doesn't mean you need to use exaggerated baby talk or overly high voices. Cats are extremely sensitive to sound, and loud or overly energetic speech can actually overwhelm them. The sweet spot is calm, gentle, and simple. A quiet, "Hey buddy," a soft, "Good girl," or a relaxed, "Come here." Over time, those small phrases begin to form something powerful in your cat's mind. Your voice becomes a signal of safety. It becomes part of the emotional landscape of their home. A sound that means comfort, calmness, and familiarity. And when a cat associates your voice with that kind of emotional security, something subtle begins to change in the way they approach you. Because sometimes the deepest trust a cat can develop isn't built through touch or play at all. Sometimes it's built through something much more ancient, the simple act of sharing food. What if one of the most powerful ways to build trust with your cat takes less than 2 minutes a week? No special toys. No complicated training. Just your hand and a few small pieces of food. It sounds almost too simple to matter, which is exactly why most cat owners never think to do it. The typical routine is familiar in nearly every American household with a cat. You scoop the kibble, pour it into the bowl, set it on the floor, and your cat walks over to eat while you move on with your day. There's nothing wrong with that routine, but hidden inside that everyday moment is an opportunity for connection that most people overlook. Because in the wild, one of the earliest experiences of trust a kitten ever learns comes from receiving food directly from its mother. When a mother cat hunts and brings prey back to her kittens, that moment becomes one of the first signals of safety in their young lives. Food delivery becomes associated with protection, survival, and care. So when you occasionally take a few pieces of kibble or a small treat and offer it from your open palm, something surprisingly meaningful happens in your cat's mind. You're not just giving them a snack, you're tapping into an instinct thousands of years old. For some cats, especially independent ones, they may hesitate at first. They might sniff your hand cautiously or step back before deciding whether to trust the offer. That hesitation is completely normal. Trust, for cats, grows through repetition. But when you repeat this simple act once a week, your cat slowly begins to associate your hands with something predictable and positive. Your hands stop being unpredictable objects in their environment and start becoming signals of safety and provision. And over time, that small ritual quietly strengthens how to bond with your cat in a way most owners never realize. But even food, as powerful as it is, still isn't the simplest way to make your cat feel completely safe around you. Sometimes the most meaningful gesture costs absolutely nothing at all. It simply requires stepping into your cat's world instead of asking them to step into yours. What if one of the most powerful ways to make your cat feel safe around you required no toys, no treats, and not even touching them at all? It's something so simple that most cat owners overlook it every single day. Just sit on the floor. That's it. No reaching out to pet them. No calling their name. No trying to pull them closer. Simply lower yourself down into their world and exist there quietly for a few minutes. At first, it might feel like nothing is happening. Your cat may continue walking around the room, pretending not to notice you at all. But from your cat's perspective, something very important has just changed. In your cat's world, every human is a giant. When you walk across the room, you tower above them. When you bend down to pet them, your hand arrives from the sky like something enormous entering their space. Even when you're showing affection, it's usually coming from above. But the moment you sit down on the floor, the entire dynamic shifts. Suddenly, you are no longer a towering figure moving through their territory. You become something much calmer, a quiet presence sharing the same level of space. And cats notice that change more than people realize. You might see your cat glance toward you from across the room, pause for a moment, and slowly drift closer. Maybe they sit beside you without touching. Maybe they curl up a foot away. That small distance isn't rejection, it's trust unfolding at your cat's pace. Because when a cat chooses to be near you without pressure, without being called, and without expecting food or play, they're communicating something incredibly meaningful. They're telling you they feel safe simply sharing space with you. And when a cat reaches that point with a human, it reveals something beautiful about the relationship you've built together. Because all of these small moments, the gentle scratching, the hunting games, the quiet voice, the shared food, and the simple act of lowering yourself to their level are actually pieces of the same emotional language your cat has been speaking all along. When you look at these moments individually, they might seem incredibly small. A gentle scratch along the cheek, a toy that pauses just long enough for your cat to catch it, a quiet phrase spoken in a soft voice, a few pieces of food offered from your hand, or simply sitting on the floor and sharing the same space for a few peaceful minutes. None of these actions look dramatic. They don't require expensive gadgets or complicated training techniques. But to your cat, these small signals mean something profound. They are the moments where your cat learns that you are predictable, calm, and safe. Over time, those repeated signals build something far deeper than simple familiarity. They create trust. And when a cat truly trusts you, the signs become beautifully subtle. They blink slowly at you across the room. They press their head gently into your hand. Sometimes they simply choose to sit nearby with no expectation of food or play. That quiet decision to stay close is one of the purest ways cats show love. Because in a cat's world, where independence and caution are part of survival, choosing to remain near someone is never accidental. It means they have decided that you are home.